to the session on Spiritual Journeys 1, and we're going to start with a presentation from Ibrahim al-Khattab, who is originally from Iraq but is at present studying at the Prospective Institute of the Sultan Mehmet Bakır University in Istanbul. And he's going to give us a presentation on the mystical aspects of Ibn Battuta's travels. Ibn Battuta, of course, will be somebody who's well known to many of you here and cropped up in Astini conferences at various times. But this particular take on Ibn Battuta should be, I think, new and enlightening for us all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here. And so I will start with my presentation. So unlike many typical travels, the travel of Ibn Battûta is full with mystical elements. For example, most of his decisions in traveling from one place to another were somehow shaped by advice he took from the mystics that he met along his journey. And when he was alone, sometimes he would consult other methods of reading the signs in the book of the world, so to speak. In this sense, Ibn Battûta practiced spiritual and physical travels, and in doing so, he seems to be inspired by the Sufi tradition that prevailed at that time, especially of Ibn Arabi. After all, Ibn Arabi's and Ibn Battûta's great journeys toward the east started with mystical dream, with the goal of making pilgrimage as the main goal. And they were both interested in the life of Prophet Ibrahim in terms of his journey toward God. Moreover, Ibn Arabi talked about the signs that a person will see in the physical world and the ones that would be obtained by a kind of inner voyage. So Ibn Arabi often referred to the Quranic verse, and we will show them our signs in the universe and in their own selves until it becomes manifested to them that it is the truth. So one part of the signs and secret would be felt in the beholder's heart, while the other part would be read in the outside physical world, which itself is the infinite words of God. So in this manner, the universe, just like the Quran, just like the dreams of humans, need a deep reading and interpretations by those who are earnestly seeking the truth. So the whole journey could be a response to the old Sufis' idea about the benefits of spiritual benefits of travel. Ibn Arabi said, travel, safar, was named so because it reveals, useful, the true character of the traveler. So in my talk, I want to show that the whole journey of Ibn Battûta was a kind of a task of self-discovery, and in the process, Ibn Battûta wanted to unveil his final potentials. So at the beginning here, Ibn Battûta talked about how it all started. This is the beginning of the narrative of Ibn Battûta. And at the beginning, he had no plan whatsoever to make his big journey. His idea or his dream was initially to go to Mecca and to Medina. But later, as I'll show you, the idea of big journey was planted by his heart by some mystics. I'll show it later. But here, the description interesting about sitting out alone, waiting all his dear ones, forsaking his home, feeling the sorrow at this separation, and etc. It seems that this beginning somehow paved the way toward the mystical aspect of the journey, where a person should sacrifice everything for the sake of the truth. And I have to link it with Ibn Arabi. Ibn Arabi said that every prophet's journey will somehow correspond to his prophecy. For example, Prophet Adam's journey was downwards from heaven to earth. Prophet Muhammad's journey was horizontal and then vertical. Prophet Noah's, for example, journey was horizontal and water. So to use Ibn Arabi's terminology, we can put Ibn Battûta's journey under the category of travel for guidance, Safar Hidayah. Ibn Arabi said that the title holder of this travel is Prophet Ibrahim, because after he decided to leave his home, he said, as mentioned in the Quran, I will go to my Lord and he will guide me. So Prophet Ibrahim went in search for God's miracles. And Ibn Arabi said, a person who will take this kind of travel must focus on the world of imagination, because the secrets and signs will be revealed to him through the journey, and it is dangerous type of travel. compared with other prophets, he is the most mentioned one. And also, I want to read this with Ibn Arabi. The idea of Prophet Ibrahim is so important in the whole philosophy and philosophical paradigm of Ibn Arabi. And more interestingly, when Ibn Arabi went to the city of Khalid in Palestine, he was in the mosque of certainty, Jama' Masjid al-Yaqin. While he was in the mosque of certainty, or certitude, he got revelation that he should write a book about certainty. So he wrote the book of certainty while he was in the mosque of certainty. Ibn Arabi said that in this place, from this place, Prophet Ibrahim witnessed the punishment God sent to the tribe of Lut. So Prophet Ibrahim said, this is a pain, there's a judgment and there is punishment. So the place was called Yaqin. Later the mosque was also named Yaqin. So Ibn Arabi wanted to show the impact of the place and its history on the mind of the mystic while he's traveling from one place to another, collecting secret and signs. And this is typical in Ibn Arabi's writing. Elsewhere, Ibn Arabi, while he was sleeping in the Maqam Ibrahim, he saw something related to the Prophet Ibrahim, gave him vision and warning about what would happen. So the two similarities are interesting, and I wanted to highlight this. However, the first mystic that Ibn Baṭṭu met while he was in Egypt is Burhanuddin Rain. He stayed in his hospitality for 3 days, and they talked, and it was this mystic, the first one who planted the idea in his heart to go far away. Among what this man said to Ibn Baṭṭu, he said, you will visit my brother Fariduddin in India, and my brother Burhanuddin in Sindh, and my brother Burhanuddin in China. And when you reach them, convey to them a greeting from me. Ibn Baṭṭu commented, I was amazed at his prediction, and the idea of going to these countries having been cast into my mind, my wonderings never ceased until I had met these 3 that he named and conveyed his greeting to them. So, after many years, he met all those 3 characters. But also, before I continue, I want to show the spiritual implication of those 3 names. So, Fariduddin, the one whose faith is unique. Ruknuddin can be translated into the cornerstone of faith. Burhanuddin, the proof of faith. So, next to their physical entities, in the process of meeting with them, Ibn Battuta's faith will be strengthened and it will go through stages of faith. And this also can be linked with Ibn Arabi. In Meccan revelations and in productions of circles, Ibn Arabi mentioned his companion's name, who was Abdullah Badr al-Habashi. As Dr. Stephen Hartenstein noticed, every noun in this name has surplus or potential meaning, extra meaning, to show the impact of this man on the mind of Ibn Arabi during the spiritual experience. So, to notice those similarities is important to highlight. However, the second mystic that Ibn Battûta met while he was in Egypt is al-Murshidi. It was hot time, because it was summertime. He told Ibn Battûta to sleep on the roof of the chamber or the little cell. So while Ibn Battûta was sleeping in that place, which is something like this, I got this from the internet. While he was sleeping there, Ibn Battûta saw this dream. I dreamt that I was on the wing of the huge bird, which flew with me in the direction of Qibla, then made towards the Yemen, then eastwards, then went towards the south, and finally made a long flight towards the east. I landed in some dark and greenish country, and left there. I was astonished at this dream and said to myself, if the Sheikh shows me that he knows of my dream, he is all that they say that he is. So Ibn Battûta heard many stories about the powers of this Murshidi, but he wanted to check about his powers. So in the next morning, the Sheikh called him and said, I know about your dream, and he gave Ibn Battûta this interpretation. You shall make the pilgrimage and visit the Prophet, and you shall travel through the lands of Yemen and Iraq, the land of the Turks, and the land of India. You will stay there for a long time, and you will meet there my brother Bashad, the Indian, who will rescue you from a danger into which you will fall. So for now, please keep this name in your mind, because we will return to this man, Bashad, later. But the fact that this man told Ibn Battûta to sleep on a high place like this, and the fact that he knew about the dream before hearing about it, shows that this man somehow trying to mind condition Ibn Battûta to sleep, to see this dream during urge him to travel, because the connection between this place, to sleep on a high place, and the content of the dream, seeing himself flying, somehow related. And this can also be linked with Ibn Arabi. Before he started his journey, Ibn Arabi, in a kind of dream or lucid dream or a kind of reveries, saw a big bird, giant bird, asking him to travel to the east. And he said, I will be your guide and your protector. So another similarities is the name Al-Mushidi. In Arabic, it means the guider. After leaving him, Ibn Baṭṭu said, in all my life, I never got such a powerful man, I never met such a powerful man, and his blessing and protection was with me until the end. And this name, the guider, who was the protector of Ibn Baṭṭu, can be linked with the giant bird who said, I am your guider and I am your protector, to Ibn Arabi. So these two similarities would be indirect impact, but I wanted to highlight this thing. However, the third mystic that Ibn Baṭṭu met while he was in Egypt is Sayyid Sharif al-Din al-Hassani. When he met him, he asked Ibn Baṭṭu, what do you want to do? What are you planning to do? Ibn Baṭṭu said that he wanted to reach Mecca through the route of Jeddah, where the mystic said, you will not succeed in doing that on this occasion. Go back, for you will make your first pilgrimage by the Syrian road and no other. At the beginning of the journey, Ibn Baṭṭu's faith, he wanted to check the powers of those people. So after leaving this man, he said, okay, I will do as I planned. So he arrived to Iraq, a place between Egypt and Sudan. For some political problems there, he was forced to go back to Egypt, and from Egypt he went to Syria, and from Syria he made his first pilgrimage. And Ibn Baṭṭu said, it happened as this man told me, that my first pilgrimage was from the Syrian road. So we will see in the process of time, Ibn Baṭṭu's faith will go through a different stage. It will be strengthened and more and more and more. And Ibn Baṭṭu mentioned many mistakes and with many interesting stories, but in my talk I want to focus on the beginning of the journey and on those people who made a big impact through all this journey. And of course this is typical for Muslims mistakes, but this is a feature of Ibn Arabi. Ibn Arabi visited all the mystics, almost all the mystics or the theologians in the Islamic world. When Ibn Arabi talked about the mystics that he met, the narrative covers 6 pages, only names. For example, I met this man in Mosul, I met this man in Damascus. So this will be indirect impact, but I wanted to show. However, elsewhere, when he was in Abadan, Ibn Baṭṭu was told about a mystic, unnamed mystic, who would be seen once per month near to the water to fish what would be his food for the whole month, and then he will not be seen. So Ibn Baṭṭu searched for this man. As soon as he talked with him, this man said, this mystic said, may God grant you your desire in this world and the next. A short sentence that made Ibn Baṭṭu think about his life. He said, yes, I attain my desire in this world, and I travel like nobody has done for me. But he started to think about paradise and about the next world. So this is interesting. And in the same day, that evening, when Ibn Baṭṭu went back to his friend, this mystic sent him a fish, about which Ibn Baṭṭu said, I have never tasted better fish. For a moment I entertained the idea of spending the rest of my life in the service of this sheikh. But of course his adventurous soul refused that, because he would like to travel and to go far and far. But this desire, it is interesting to notice the first time this desire of sitting and leading like a solitary, contemplative life, the first time it appeared here. After this, many times he would say, when he saw people away from the population living alone, he said, I hope I can live like peaceful life, like to enjoy the solitary spiritual journey. But he was not able to do. Even though 2 times he left the world and he lived like 4 or 5 months with some mistakes. But as he said later, he came back to the world because he liked to travel. So this idea was planted in the heart of Ibn Baṭṭu, unlike the first Egyptian mystics who forced him or encouraged him to make physical journey. This man, or this mystic, based on my reading, encouraging him to make like a solitary life. So who is this person? This man is unnamed, but it has some implication or relationship with the Al-Khadr. Because this unnamed mystic, as Ibn Baṭṭu told us, he met him in Abadan, near the sanctuary of Al-Khadr and Ilyas. And he's also connected with fish and with the sea. Ibn Baṭṭu didn't say this clearly, But we understand the mind of Ibn Battūta. As Dr. David Wayne said, Ibn Battūta always wanted to show that he is like seeing miracles, he was protected by God, and he has like a divine mission to meet those people. So it would be understandable if he said this, but he didn't say this. But based on some other implication, there is this kind of tendency. And even if this man has nothing to do with Al-Khadr, we know that Ibn Battūta was also interested in Al-Khadr. He visited like many places in Syria, in Iraq, in the Ottoman lands, in India. So even scholars said that sometimes, for example, he was on a voyage. When he heard about the place about Al-Khadr, he would change the path to go to visit the sanctuary and come back and return. So he was fascinated by Al-Khadr. So based on Holy Quran, the best authority on Islamic mysticism, the main goal of Al-Khadr is to push every mystic to his perfect nature, because this perfect nature goes hand in hand with the inner heaven of that person. So this man seems to inspire to push Ibn Arabi to start this to get more to the perfection of Ibn Battūta. But as I said, he wasn't able to do this. But this can also be linked with Ibn Arabi, because among all Muslim mystics, the most one who's related with Al-Khadr is Ibn Arabi. Ibn Arabi's talked many times about the meeting with Al-Khadr, and he said that I was educated by Al-Khadr. So this is like also would be indirect impact, but I wanted to highlight this. Elsewhere, before the end of the journey, on his way from India to China, Ibn Battūta was separated from the delegation, and he was kidnapped, and he was about to be killed, but somehow he was able to run away. He spent like 1 week running away from one place to another. He was exhausted, hungry, thirsty. He arrived to a well and wanted to drink water, but there was no container. So he put his shoe, and the shoe fell down on inside the well. So he put the other shoe in order to use it to drink water, but he was so tired and lost. At that time, he met a man came near to him. The stranger said, Ibn Battūta said, "Who are you?" The man asked Ibn Battūta, "Who are you?" And Ibn Battūta said, "I'm astray." And he said, "So am I." Afterwards, the stranger provided him with food and water. Then he asked about Ibn Battūta's name, to which Ibn Battūta said, "Muhammad." And likewise, he asked him about his name. The stranger replied, "Al-Qalb al-Farah," joyous heart. Ibn Battūta said, "I took this as a good omen and I rejoiced at it." So he always did the signs in front of him, and he was happy that he met this man to help him. And this man told him to mount on his shoulder because he was so tired. But while he was on the shoulder of this man, he fainted and he slept. He opened his eyes later, he was in another place, safe place. And even the governor of that population was Muslim, and he took care of him, gave him food and clothes. It was later that Battūta was asking, "Who is this man who helped me?" So he remembered that many years ago, when he was in Egypt, the mystic told him that he would be saved by a man called Bishad. And so he remembered that the man told him that his name is Al-Qalb al-Farah, joyous heart, which is in the Persian tongue means Bishad. So he was happy that the prediction was fulfilled. And this also can be linked with, maybe this can be like imaginary story, but it can link with another report by Ibn Arabi. In one of his hard journeys, Ibn Arabi met a divine young man. Also, while Ibn Arabi was near to spring of water, and also Ibn Arabi said, "I am a lost seeker," or "I am a stray seeker." And also, this creature or this divine person told Ibn Arabi, "In the path of God, you have to take off your shoes for spiritual purposes." And also, at the end of Ibn Arabi's report, he was fainted. Ibn Arabi was fainted, and he said, "I was barefooted." So the similarities are interesting. I'm about to finish. Next to the advice that Ibn Battūta took from the mystics, when he was alone, sometimes he would depend on dreams, sometimes he would depend on istikhara, waiting for signs, sometimes he would open the Quran randomly. So based on what he was seeing in the first page, he would decide to go or not to go. He used very different methods, but I want to mention this interesting dream. Before the end, in the last journey of Ibn Battūta, while he was in Mali, he said this: "One night, while I was staying in this town, I saw in my sleep a person who said to me, 'Oh Muhammad ibn Battūta, why do you not recite the Surah Yasin every night?' Since then, I have not failed to recite it every day, whether I have been traveling or stationary." This dream can be linked with Ibn Arabi before he started his journey, Ibn Arabi was so sick and he was about to die. He got stone fever. While he was between hallucination and dreaming, he saw in his dream that he was surrounded by devilish and evil characters. Then all of a sudden, a kind of divine creature came near to him, and all the evil powers or entities ran away from him. When Ibn Arabi asked this creature, or this beautiful divine creature, who are you? This creature said, I am the Surah Yasin. So when he opened his eyes, he saw his father near to his bed, crying and reading this very chapter from the Quran. Ibn Arabi said, I knew that I was made for the spiritual path. And the timing of the two reports about Surah Yasin is interesting, because in Arabi's case, Ibn Arabi saw the thing about Surah Yasin before this journey, because Ibn Arabi started the spiritual and physical journey together. While in the case of Ibn Baṭṭu, he saw this dream at the end of his physical journey, encouraging him to start the spiritual journey. And even Henry Corbin, when we looked at this report of Ibn Arabi, he said Surah Yasin is read on the dead. So when Ibn Arabi's father was reading this verse on his dying son, he was sending him to that next world peacefully. He was reading on him because he thought that he is dying. So you can understand the same thing regarding Ibn Baṭṭu, because Ibn Baṭṭu, before this time when he was in India, he saw a man was taken to his execution and he was trembling and he was reading Surah Yasin on himself because he wanted to go from this world peacefully. So this is interesting. So I need to conclude because I think I passed my time. So Ibn Baṭṭu was born here at the place of Ibn Arabi, and he visited Damascus, Jabal Konya, and Lucia, and he mentioned almost all the mystics alive or dead in the Islamic world. Nevertheless, he never mentioned anything about Ibn Arabi. This is strange. And even I didn't find any scholar or any study to show any impact or relationship between the two. And also this is strange. So I tried to bring new perspectives on Ibn Baṭṭu's journey. The last thing I want to mention that maybe Ibn Baṭṭu didn't want to involve himself with the controversial figure like Ibn Arabi at that time, because Ibn Arabi was, his reputation in the first decades after his death was not good. He was attacked by scholars like Ibn Taymiyyah, later by Muhammad. So it was later, after many commentaries started to be written about him, people started to understand his ideas, and most importantly, after Ibn Arabi's legacy being embraced by the Ottomans, that people started to give him credit. So thank you so much. I think.